right, it is that time. It is where, hopefully, he learns how to wear a referee shirt correctly, and we hope that he makes a fair and just decision. This is Fantasy Warfare. If you watched last week, I picked the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle to take on Thomas Wolfe's Lucha Dragon NXT Tag Team Champion Kalisto, and
he's sweaty.
This man made it a singles match, a one-on-one wrestling match. The only question is, Kevin Hawk, who wins this month's Fantasy Warfare?
Well, it's appropriate this week because it's, I'm not saying like this is 4 weeks ago's Fantasy Warfare.
That's true.
I've had a lot of days, approximately 7 or 8 of them to deliberate.
Ish.
This is nice.
Still not how you wear a shirt.
It's adjusting it so it's more so.
He's trying.
There we go. I have a lot of time to deliberate, and I'm not quite finished yet because I know you guys have closing arguments.
That we do.
To head towards me. I'm leaning one way right now, but these guys, this is their last chance to sway me in one direction or the other on who I should let win Fantasy Warfare.
And for the record, I know what Thomas Wolfe's closing argument is because obviously he's not here. He texted me his closing argument as to why Kalisto would win, so I'll be reading that on behalf of him. But him and I had no discussion with each other as to why one or the other would win.
And we're using Kalisto versus, what would you say, 2002,
2003.
Like 2003 era Kurt Angle.
Yes.
So, first off, I'd like to hear the closing argument from Thomas Wolfe.
All right. Well, let's bring that up real quick. Thomas Wolfe, picking Kalisto, says, Kalisto wins because Kurt Angle, even at that point, has a lot more mileage and damage on his body. Meanwhile, Kalisto, being a quick lucha like he is, wrestles a very fast pace without tiring. I think he will be able to outlast Kurt Angle, especially if Kurt underestimates him and writes him off as just an NXT rookie.
Makes sense. Short and concise, I like it. I like arguments that are short and concise. And your final argument for Kurt Angle?
Well, I'm sorry, mine is not short and concise.
Uh-oh.
Because I took into consideration that as of the end of 2002, not even taking 2003 into consideration, Kurt Angle had racked up a huge list of accomplishments in his short, just over 2 years in WWF at the time. Then became WWE. 3 months into his career, he was already the Eurocontinental Champion, defeating Val Venus and Chris Jericho. Granted, he only kept them for a couple months, losing them back to Jericho and Benoit, but still, 3 months in, they already trusted him as a double champion. He was the 2000 King in the Ring and won his first WWF Championship that year at No Mercy. So he's already in less than a year, and he's already won his first WWF Championship. That championship he would go on to defend and retain in a 6-man Hell in a Cell and against Triple H at the Royal Rumble, only to lose it to The Rock at No Way Out. Rock would then go on to face Stone Cold at WrestleMania 17. Now during the Alliance, which was the middle to the end of 2001, he won the WCW title, the US title, and the Hardcore Championship, then won the WWF Championship again at SummerSlam from Stone Cold Steve Austin. So he's already won the WWF Championship twice in just over a year. Then October of 2002, he became the 5th ever Grand Slam champion when he won the tag team titles with Chris Benoit. He would lose those titles, but then win his 3rd WWF Championship that December by beating Triple H and Big Show. By beating Big Show at, I believe, that would have been Armageddon. Then at Vengeance 2000... That was wrong. I'm not going to say that part because I said I wasn't going to take 2003 into consideration. But he won his 4th WWE Championship in 2003 by beating Big Show and Triple H in a triple threat match. Mm-hmm. On top of that, in the years, up to that point, he had beaten lucha-style wrestlers like Eddie Guerrero, like Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio. He'd taken...
Rey Mysterio, was that in 2004?
No, he'd wrestled... No,
2002.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, SummerSlam 2002. And then he's also beat some of the biggest names in WWF at the time. He's beaten The Undertaker. He's beaten Stone Cold. He's beaten The Rock. I mean, he beat almost the entire main event roster just in a 6-man Hell in a Cell. Mm-hmm. So, granted, yes, he probably does have a little bit more damage on his body, but being an Olympic gold medalist who won with a broken freaking neck, pain really isn't something that would take a huge toll on 2002, 2003 Kurt Angle, even if he was going against a very fresh and fast-paced lucha like Kalisto.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that I immediately took into consideration when I was thinking Kalisto versus Kurt Angle was Kurt Angle's experience. Mm-hmm. But then I was thinking, wait, no, we're taking into consideration it's 2003 Kurt Angle. Yeah. So Kurt Angle's only been wrestling for about 5 years at this point.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Kurt Angle started wrestling in 1999.
Well, and then he did have that brief stint where he was possibly going to ECW.
Yeah. He started professional wrestling in 1999.
Yes.
Or the very early 99.
Yeah, he debuted for WWF at Survivor Series 99 by beating Shawn Stasiak.
Yeah. Maybe it was late 98 when he started training. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really seem, but if we're going against nowadays, Kalisto has about 8-9 years of experience. So at this point, if we're taking 2003 Kurt Angle versus nowadays Kalisto actually has more time in the ring than Kurt Angle does.
Absolutely. Almost double. Over double.
But then you have to say too, also, Kalisto being an indie worker, it's not quite as consistent as when you're on the road with WWE for 300 days a year, performing 3, 4, 5 times a week. So, Kurt Angle would catch up quick. We would have, like you said, the Eddie Guerreros and Rey Mysterios that Kurt Angle's wrestled, giving him sort of a how-to on how to wrestle that kind of an opponent.
Yeah.
Which would be good in Kurt Angle's favor. Kalisto, though, much like you would say for Rey Mysterio, is tiny and constantly the smallest guy in the match.
Oh yeah.
And we're talking, he primarily promotions like Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, who those guys aren't giant like WWE guys can be, but Kalisto's still very, very prominent. And also overseas in, Dragon Gate and stuff. Mm-hmm. But all in all, I decided, and the closing arguments really didn't sway one way or the other how I felt about it. Basically, I'm going with Kurt Angle to win this match. Just based on the fact that it would happen. And I feel that even more so than Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, Kalisto is a higher risk taker.
Yes.
A lot more topes, and a lot more planches, and a lot more off the top rope.
A lot more fancy stuff.
Yeah. And I think that definitely leaves it way more open for him, high risk, high reward versus high risk, get yourself hurt. And I think Kurt Angle would be really good at exploiting that and, moving out of the way or causing Kalisto to slip up. And, Kalisto jumps off the top rope, 450 splash, something of that nature. The pool's empty. That's the perfect time for Kurt Angle to run in, slap on the ankle lock, and force Kalisto to tap out. I wouldn't expect this match to be anything short of what I would consider fancy.
It would be a great match.
It'd be really, really tremendously fun to watch. I don't think it would be necessarily very long.
No. This I think would either be like an opener to a WWE pay-per-view, or maybe even maybe an almost middle of the card indie show.
Yeah. I see this being a fast-paced, fun-to-watch, energetic match.
Yeah.
Sorry, Thomas, but Kurt Angle gets my vote on this one. And
it's true.
It was hard for me to say that because I really, really like Kalisto.
I do too, and I knowing that you are an indie connoisseur, that's your favorite kind of wrestling, especially nowadays. I was almost expecting you to pull for Kalisto.
Well, that's the thing. I was pulling for Kalisto. I want Kalisto to win this match, but realistically, I don't see it happening.
This would be a perfect build because you do, in a way, have that David and Goliath because Kalisto is super small. Granted, Kurt Angle's not that big, but you do have the very drastic size difference.
Mm-hmm.
But Kurt Angle being a natural heel, he's great heel work. Mm-hmm. And knowing that Kalisto, with his flashy style, would absolutely be the face, especially if it was coming off the heels of being tag team champions with Sin Cara, or even just before being tag team champions with Sin Cara. Regardless, he immediately made a face connection with the crowd. Mm-hmm. So the build for a match like this would be...
It'd be very natural.
Yeah, very, very organic, and we'd have... Yeah, it'd be some...
But I think going back to 2003, Kurt Angle was still very... that 2002, 2003, very, very still Americana Kurt Angle.
Yes.
So I can almost see them playing on...
International warfare.
International, the almost the JBL Border Patrol kind of angle. Hey, he's the dirty Mexican. I'm gonna make him tap out. I think it'd be fun to watch. It'd be a good build up. But yeah, overall, I see Angle taking it, and it's gonna be an ankle lock.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna go with that. Pool is empty on the 450 splash slap on the ankle lock?
Something of that nature, just because it's that would be Angle's strategy right off the bat.
We'd be trying to ground Kalisto.
Grounding Kalisto, the ankle lock. His go-to submission hold is the perfect counter to Kalisto's high-flying style.
Yes.
If he can't have both feet to springboard to the outside or moonsault back into the ring, what's Kalisto actually end up gonna do? Kalisto's a hell of a wrestler. If you've never seen him wrestle, check some of the PWG. They do a lot of post-show little recap music videos. Find some of the shows he was on. Watch some of his wrestling.
Samurai Del Sol.
Yeah, he's a decent wrestler, but he isn't a Kurt Angle decent wrestler.
Yeah, and I can just picture it now. If you saw Kalisto's first match on NXT where he did the no-handed springboard back
handspring without using his hands. His back spring.
Kurt Angle would catch that into an angle slam.
The one that I envisioned was the one he did to Sami Zayn. Where he did the back handspring double backflip.
Yeah.
Did the double backflip and I'd imagine Kurt Angle backstepping once and catching his foot. Kind of thing. So, there you go. We have Kurt Angle going over Kalisto via submission. Let us know what you think. Do you agree with my decision? Do you not agree with my decision? If you don't, it doesn't matter. I'm the referee.
He's a referee.
So, yeah, post in your comments if you think Kurt Angle should win. If you think that I was wrong, let me know why. I'm not going to backtrack or rescind my decision.
Yeah.
But I'd like to know your opinions.
How would you book the match?
Yeah.
How do you, if you feel that Kalisto would go over, or if you agree with Kevin Hawk that Kurt Angle would, how would you see the match ending? If you're into fan fiction, please fanfic this match or any of the fantasy warfares we've done. We've got all of our information down in the description below. You can hit us up.
Ambrose versus Homicide, Ultimate Warrior versus Vader.
If you want to go back to our very beginning,
Shawn Michaels and Mike Quackenbush versus Ophidian and Shinron.
Yeah, and our very first one, we had the triple threat match where it was Johnny Gargano taking on Eddie Guerrero, taking on Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
So, any of those fanfics, if you want to go back, check them all out. You can go through our catalog of videos. If you want to fanfic any of those matches, send them to emails, fanstalkwrestling at Gmail. Send them to Kevin Hawk on his personal email. Any way you want.
Kevin_Hawk636@hotmail.com.
It's down in the description.
I still use Hotmail.
Or if you want to post it on our Facebook page, you
Can they direct message us on our Facebook page?
I believe so. Yes.
Direct message us on the
Yeah.
Facebook page. If you do a fan fiction, I will come on and I will do a video specifically just reading your fan fiction.
We'll do a special video where we read the fan fiction.
If you send us mail, we will specially read fan mail on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do it.
We'll do it. But that is it for Fantasy Warfare. Thank you again for choosing my Kurt Angle. I appreciate it. Kurt Angle taking the win. You shaking
your phone real quick.
Yeah. Good job.
Shaking Thomas Wolf's hands.
It was a hard-fought battle, Thomas Wolf. But we are moving on to the SmackDown Rundown, the final show going into Survivor Series. What kind of things are going to happen?
This is the go. If Raw was the go-home show to Survivor Series, this is the go-to-your-room show to Survivor Series.
Yeah. This is like go to the network now because Survivor Series is next. And then after that, we'll be having our Survivor Series predictions. So be sure to... Whoa, holy crap.
I didn't mean for that to hit you.
Woo! Be sure to check out all those videos.
That.
Go ahead and let the playlist keep playing if you want to, or if you want to get crazy and jump around, go for it, because we got all kinds of videos this week.
We do. Go to the Survivor Series predictions first, then watch the rest of it in order.
Yeah, why not? Because that's your prerogative.
It is. Watch them in alphabetical order.
But you know what our prerogative is?
Ending the video.
Yep. And moving on
to SmackDown Rundown.